This is Joel and Helena Haran. The duo make up the design and craft practice of Studio Haran. Their well-equipped workshop is housed in a converted outbuilding on a farm in Perranarworthal, Cornwall, a short walk from where they live. Each of them bring their own specialist knowledge of slip casting and woodwork, enabling them to create bespoke, handcrafted products for home and business. Their collaborative skills have led them to work on a range of projects, from lighting and furniture to bespoke interiors and exhibition builds. Alongside these projects, they have created a range of timeless collections, which include pendant lights, ceramic planters, wooden benches and stools, and are sold through their online shop. Their use of sustainable materials alongside innovative design is at the heart of what they do. In their downtime, they enjoy spending time at the beach and exploring the beautiful Cornish countryside. Today, I chat with them about their process, how they work together, and how slow, intentional living is key to how they run their business. I'm Mel Chadwick. This is Season 2, Episode 1. Welcome to Creative Conversations. Hi guys, welcome to another Creative Conversation. Today I'm in the studio of husband and wife team Joel and Helena Haran. Welcome guys.
Thank you.
Really
Welcome
glad.
to the workshop.
Yeah.
Really glad that you've let me come in and film you and ask you some questions.
Pleasure. Sorry it's so cold.
That's one thing that they won't know.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to find out about your backgrounds and also how you met and when did you start working together?
So we met whilst at university. I started and Joel was already in his second year. We did a sustainable product design course. We graduated in 2015.
Wow.
So we've been running the business for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, since then, since we met, we knew that. Well, Joel, you were really passionate about furniture, weren't you?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to pursue that as a career, design and furniture, since 16 or so. So
Yeah.
kind of went for that while I was at uni and carried on with it. And then, I started it more full-time, didn't I? And then Helena was part-time, and then Helena started doing more ceramics, and then as soon as we could, we were both full-time running the business. And this is where we are now.
So what kind of products do you make?
So I mainly work with ceramic and Joel works with wood. And we make lighting products and we make furniture and we make homeware as well. Brilliant. So a big selection.
And on top of that, we also do a lot of bespoke commissions, which have quite a variety. So last week I was working on a staircase. Next week I'll be working on an exhibition stand, which we take to Germany. And then we've done office interiors and all sorts of things. So anything that's got design and making involved, we'll get our hands dirty, basically.
Brilliant. And so we're in your workshop here. Could you tell us a little bit about the space and where is it as well?
Okay, so we're on a farm in Perranarworthal, which is a really long name, but that's in between Falmouth and Truro. And we've been in this workshop since about May, haven't we? May last year. And it's actually the first workshop where we're working in the same place together. Because before I had my own separate ceramic studio and Joel had his own separate workshop. So it's quite a big thing, wasn't it? Sort of coming together as one into the same workshop.
We started out in a really small workshop in May, which was a great starting place, and there was lots of creatives there. And then we were living on this farm, and we had a big project, and we needed a bigger space, so we took on a barn temporarily on the farm for a year or so while this place was being built, and because this used to be full of cattle, and there was all beds for all the cattle in here, and it wasn't as light, and it underwent a big transformation, and now it's our studio. And
it is a brilliant space. It's just really lovely because you've got so much light as well.
Yeah, it feels like a really refreshing place to work. Definitely refreshing when it's cold outside, but also it is really inspiring being in a space where it's really light and bright and you can think quite clearly. We're both quite on top of it with trying to keep things tidy as we possibly can. So that really helps, I think. Having sort of like that clear space to work and think is really helpful for both of us.
What kind of equipment do you have? I mean, maybe one of you could introduce different parts of the...
So I haven't actually, compared to Joel, I've got a relatively small amount of equipment. So I've got a blunger, which is a machine that mixes all of my clay. Yeah. And I've got my kiln, which fires and heats all of my clay, all of my products to the right temperature. And that's it for equipment for me.
Apart from our DIY drying cabinet.
Apart from my drying cabinet, which is really important.
Did you build that?
Yeah.
Well, it used to be an old milk steaming box, and then we insulated it and heated it.
Put a radiator in it.
Turned it into a place for drying moulds.
It's a glorified airing cupboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really helpful because obviously when you're drying, things need to be dried slowly and evenly. So having a small dry space to get things to that state is really good. But yeah, you've got a lot more equipment.
I've got lots of equipment.
Tell us maybe a couple of your favourite pieces, because I'm sure you've got lots.
I don't know if you can see it, but just behind us there's a big saw, which is my panel saw.
Yeah.
And we've cut almost everything on that. It's really great. For a long time I had a smaller table saw, which was good as well, but this thing now I've got it, I just don't know how. I'd never be without it. So that's for cutting up all kinds of timber. And then we've also got band saws for doing curved cuts and things. Then we've got the lathe, which is really important because that is how we come up with all our ceramic shapes. So everything that Helena makes is slip cast. So we turn our shapes on the lathe to come up with our original form, and then we make moulds to be slip cast into. So that's kind of, we couldn't do without that one on the ceramic side of things. But then we also turn a lot of furniture components on there. And then we've got planer thicknesses and other saws and lots and lots of power tools.
I have to stop, Joel.
And hand tools as well.
Is that something that you really like to invest in?
It's a never-ending thing. There's always new tools.
Well, it's efficiency, isn't it? The better tools that you have, the more efficient you can be with your practice. And but yeah, Joel is definitely a big fan of tools.
Well, we need them. They're essential for our business.
Yeah, right, they are.
Should we talk about your process? Because when you're coming up with a new product, does one of you take the lead and then the other one kind of chips in, or is it more collaborative where you take turns?
Yeah, it's definitely collaborative. I think we always... Well, with the lighting, we started just by drawing lots of different lighting shapes. We knew we wanted to come up with some lighting that combined ceramic and wood together. So we both
drew pages of messy doodles.
Yeah. So then from there, we started with one shape, which was our element pendant, which was the first light we designed. And then from there, I think we thought, okay, this is like a downlighter. What happens if we want to open up that light and get a wider light? So then we came up with our bass pendant, which is a wide, shallow pendant. So then you sort of make adaptations, don't you, on things?
So, we went back to the drawing board, drew lots of things, and then we were really lucky with our lighting, actually, because some of our products, they take months to develop, and you make it so many times, and each time something's not right, and you need to tweak bits here and there, and dimensions and materials. And whereas with our pendant shapes, we actually, then nothing's perfect, but we got it right to our eye first time, which was really good. Although there's lots of sketching and that. You cast a really big block of plaster, so you put time into that, and then you've got to turn it on the lathe and hope that it goes right, basically. So
what's your time scales? That's what I'd like to know.
So obviously it's one of those things where, so for example, our floor lamp, was months, just not every day, but just thinking about it, tweaking bits
Probably
here and there.
about, would you say about 6 months or something from the start, from the initial sketches to the final prototype? It probably did take us about 6 months. So we sort of start with a sketch, and then we'll come up with an initial prototype, which is very basic out of, real simple materials that we've got around in the workshop. And then we'll go from there, and then we'll make up a first prototype in the timber that we want to use, which was oak, and then...
And there's a lot of development in...
Yeah.
With something like the floor lamp, we're going to make a big batch of them. We've got to actually figure out not just how it's going to be, but how we're going to make it.
Yeah. What
So
about choosing materials as well? I mean, how do you choose
so that's
which kind
been,
of wood?
for a long time, we've kind of developed a palette now that most of our collection is within. So ceramics, we've got like a few tones that we're working with. That's a whole nother set of development, which has taken a long time actually, isn't it? And then with most of our range, like our first furniture range, we used London Plain and Ash. Was really like the contrast between them, and there's not much of it out there, and it suited the work. And now with most of our lighting work, we're doing that in oak, just because it's a good timber to use, and a lot of people have it in their homes. So when they're looking for a light fitting, they want it to match their doors or their skirting board, or but then when it comes to bespoke commissions, often there's just a massive list of materials and timbers that we will go to because it's specific to that.
There's also a lot of British oak, isn't there, that you can get your hands on, which is really important. Really trying to keep getting, all of our materials, getting them supplied in the UK.
Yeah.
We do use a lot of European oak as well, though, purely because I've had some amazing British oak, but it's hard to get hold of, and unfortunately during the war we chopped down all our forests, so we don't have that much timber left. There is some really nice stuff out there, but mainland Europe has much better forestry industry than we do, so but as much as we can, we do keep things local. So Helena's clay is English clay as well. And we just really, it's about the best quality material for the job for us, rather than what's cheapest. It's about something that we can source in as ethical and sustainable way as possible, and it's going to last, and it's for the job, and it's not a skimping anywhere. So all our fittings for our lighting, they're all solid brass made in the UK. We know it's a quality, it's not just a cheap plastic part. And that's kind of how we try and go about all of it, really.
And that's probably important for your customers to know that they're getting something that is going to last and be durable.
I think in society today, we're so used to just going and getting something and using it for a year and then it breaking. And we're really trying to just run the slow race almost, and trying to make things that take a while to make, and that are expensive but good quality, and it's not gonna go to waste after a year, because it's gonna last as long. It could last your lifetime, really. If you look after it, because wood isn't gonna break really.
And it's also it's about as much as we try and keep all our design timeless, so we're not overly interested with a certain period of style which is going to go out of fashion. It's just keeping things simple and functional, and that is a kind of underlying factor of our style. So that hopefully in 20 years they'll still be I don't want to conform to it, but what you'd call fashionable. They'll still look good, and they won't be like, we need to get rid of that now because it's a new style.
Because it looks too dated. You don't want things to do.
Also, what we've found is with a quality material, whether it's solid brass or ceramic or with solid wood, when you knock it, you mark it, you scrape it, it's not...
It builds character.
It builds character, and it doesn't ruin it. And when you go and buy a chipboard piece of furniture, or it's a veneer on it, and someone takes an edge off it, suddenly it's ruined the whole glossy finish. But you might scrape a bit of oak or chip a bit off it, but it's still oak underneath, and it's more of a...
It actually adds to it, doesn't it?
It adds something to it, and that's what we're trying to hope, that everything we make will last. And also, you know, the trees, etc., they've taken 100 years to grow, so just try and make the most of what they are.
Yeah.
And keep them for a while rather than something someone's going to throw away.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your inspiration
Yeah.
behind your products? Like, what inspires you and motivates you?
Do you want to go for it?
Yeah, it's ultimately a lot of things. First of all, like, I wanted to make furniture, and I just love designing things and making things. So you look at what you can design and make. So obviously furniture for us, so there's essential pieces of furniture, like tables, chairs, and then there's lighting. And I suppose what we do is look at what's out there, or look at what people need from these products, and try and improve that, I guess, and try and put our own edge on it. So, I mean, there's also a lot to be said for, you know, spending time outside and being inspired by nature, and when I'm surfing. Whenever we go away to get away from work, suddenly our heads are just filled with new ideas.
Yeah.
Because we have space from it, and then we're just excited to make new things. So a lot of it is from our actual just desire to be creative. But then on a much deeper level, it then becomes product specific about making the best version of that we can.
Yeah.
So the inspiration is a combination of, you know, spending time outdoors and then being inspired to be creative, and giving our best input on different products and making the best things that we can.
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely vouch for that. Similarly, going away from the workshop, it's crazy how, you know, you can be in here every day and you're doing tasks and you're trying to come up with new things, and actually stepping away from it just really makes you more. I think we designed our first furniture range when we were, well, you did, when we went away to Greece.
We were in a hotel in Greece, and I just completely
just suddenly just had this crazy, like, I've got a new idea, and just, you know, it felt really inspired. I was doing loads of drawings, and that was really great. I think because we live here and we work here, we're often, you know, we do get away, but when we do go away from the farm, you can just suddenly get like really inspired, which is great. And also, I think seeing other designer makers and what they're making and how they're making a living off what they're doing really inspires me as well. I love speaking to ceramists, I love speaking to woodworkers, people, textile designers. I just find it really, really inspiring. So yeah, and just seeing the different processes that they use as well, and because we are so focused on our individual processes that sometimes when you look at somebody else's, that, you know, sparks something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's really cool though to hear. So when you, I was just thinking, you live just a couple of, I don't know,
Wow, about 20 steps.
20 steps away. How do you guys switch off, or do you switch off?
Well, in the summer we spend a lot of time at the beach. So yeah, a lot of our evenings we'll try and jump in the car, and with the longer evenings, you know, it stays light till about 9 or 10, which is amazing. So we both really love being in the sea, and that's a big part of summer, isn't it? In the
winter too, when I get a chance.
Yeah, Joel's a winter surfer as well, which is pretty hardcore. So yeah, he likes to get away, but that's obviously difficult because when at 5 o'clock it's
light.
dark. So
So you try and balance it. If we can work late and go into the beach in the day, then that's great, but it's just not always that simple. And sometimes for a whole month, I just got to completely focus on work because it's really busy. Or
So you find you have different seasons?
It's so seasonal, and I mean, it's, in a word, it's like a roller coaster sometimes. You've got a project on and you're completely immersed in that, into every detail of it, and the logistics of it, the making of it. And I mean, I can get pretty all consumed and still in bed talking about everything, and Helena's like, stop it. And then I'll stop talking about it, and then she'll start talking about it, and like, well, you just told me to stop.
Yeah. And last night you were on your laptop in bed, weren't you?
Yeah,
and it was about
emails.
12 o'clock, and I was like, no, like, this is too much. And I was trying to sleep. So, yeah, it's just, you know, it is a real balance, and it's difficult because we also spend a lot of time together working. So, and then when you want to have chill out time, it can be really difficult to just switch off and get away from work. But leaving the workshop really helps. Which is off because Joel loves it. He just loves being immersed within woodwork, and he loves playing around with tools. So it's a hobby for you, isn't it? As much as it
because
is
we live
work.
here as well. I mean, it's not I mean, I hadn't had a day off in a couple of weeks. So yesterday I just had a day off. Just sat on the sofa all day, and that was great. But most of the time, if you're sat in the house, unless you've got something you're doing, you're like, well, I could just go and... So it's good to get away. That's the best way to switch off.
We've got a camper van as well, which is amazing in the summer. So getting away in that, and even just
camper van in progress.
Yeah, camper van in progress. But just going away for one night really makes a difference.
And you've got so many beautiful spots, haven't you, to travel to in Cornwall. So.
Yeah, we're so lucky. We haven't explored them enough, really. So I often think that sometimes when I go up to London, and my family live in London, and I think, oh wow, like it's just such a different lifestyle. You know, they're coming home, leaving for work at 7 a.m, coming home at 7 p.m, and you know we've actually got an opportunity here because we live where we work. Is that whole morning part and the whole evening part we can do what we want with, whereas because we're not travelling and commuting. So yeah, we are really, really, really blessed in that way.
What would you say to your younger self?
Okay.
If you were just starting out.
Yeah. Probably just to take my time and not to worry about getting everything perfect to begin with. I think we're like 4 years in, and we're only just starting to understand that we don't have, because we love working. I think we feel like sometimes that we just want to do everything. And we just want to like take on, we want to do a bit of this, we want to do a bit of that, but actually just to slow down and to focus on, you know, that one thing, what it like that we really want to do. And to just take our time, I think.
Yeah, good things take time. That's a big one.
Yeah.
You can't rush most things. In terms of advice, if you want to start a business, it's really hard. You've got to know, not to say it's not going to be enjoyable, but it's really hard. And so you've got to be prepared for that. I mean, I love it. And I've been in some ridiculous situations where we've spent really, really long hours and it's the middle of the night or whatever, and you're still working. But if you can enjoy that and make the most of every opportunity, then that's a huge thing. Have a belief in yourself, because at the end of the day, when you start out, not that many people will believe in you. So, you know, you've got to be your number one supporter, because nobody else is there when it really matters and you're stuck, and you've got to pick yourself up and get on. So believe in yourself that you can achieve what you want to do.
You've got to dig deep, I think, when you're self-employed to, you know, there's nobody there saying, you're late this morning, or you know you've got to be there on time, or whatever. You've really got to dig deep, and you've got to find it within yourself to be like, no, I've got to stick to that, and I've got to get in, and I've got to, I've got to get to work, and I've got stuff to do. Even if you haven't, even if we don't necessarily have orders on, that can be the hardest thing, because you think, oh, you know, there's nobody waiting for something to arrive, or there's no products to package up, or nothing to make. But actually, there's a lot of other stuff to do, and you've got to remember to, you know, just keep working through it. And it's so easy to begin with. I think when we started to think you've got all this free time, and to think, oh, you know, I could have a day off today, which you can, and you know that's good, and you should give yourself days off because you deserve it, because you work hard. And you know, sometimes I think actually, it might be easier if I just went and got a 9-to-5 job, because I would probably work a lot less hours, and you know, it would be lovely to like have a workforce to like go into work, and you know, to have friends and community at work. But so that is difficult. I do miss that, I think. It just being the two of us, we sometimes have people working for us as well.
It's like a roller coaster again. So sometimes we've had up to 5 people in the workshop for weeks at a time, and then other times it's just us. And you know, both of those parts can be enjoyable, but it's just making the most of what it is at the time. As much as you can have a routine.
Yeah.
Because
really
there's
important.
nobody else to give you a routine. So make yourself a routine. It's important to be disciplined. One, to work, but also to be productive in your work time and not just stretch it out too many hours, and how actually, you know, all right, I'm going to work these hours, I'm going to get this done. Yeah. And then I'm going to have some time off because I need that, and I need some space. And be realistic. I'm really never realistic. I always think...
Do you find you do it over or under?
I think I can do a million things in an hour, and it takes me 5 times as long. I kind of understand that about myself, so I'm okay with it, but it's really frustrating for other people sometimes. But also, like for you, if like a to-do list is an amazing thing. You write a to-do list, but write a realistic one. And when you've ticked it all off, you're like, great, I did what I needed to do. But when you write everything on there that you just can't do, then you get to the end of the day and you're like, well, I need to keep working because...
Yeah, your to-do list is always like this long, isn't it? I'm like,
I'm similar to that. My to-do list is far too long.
And I'm like, no, cross probably like a good third of that off, because that's not going to happen. But that's, I think, you learn a lot about each other and how we each work as well, because I like a routine, and I really, like Joel said, I really like to-do lists. I like coming into work, knowing exactly what I've got to do, working through that, and then going home. Whereas Joel, you're a lot more, I like to say like Joel's more horizontal, because he goes from like one thing, he'll start one thing and then he'll go straight to another thing, and then another thing and another thing, but he'll get everything done, but it's not in like a linear approach. So that's
creative.
It's really creative, but it's quite hard to work with sometimes, because I'm just like, you know, he's got so many different things going on, and you've got a deadline, something's got to get done, and I just can't see like how that's going to happen. But it always does. It always does.
And I think one of the biggest ones, which we've really taken us a long time to learn, is working smart and not hard. Like, it's important to work hard, but
not to
work
be a busy,
smarter,
busy fool,
not harder.
That's
you can only work so hard before you start getting tired and your performance just goes downhill. So really streamlining is a constant process for us, because we want to do everything, but we can't do everything. So it's, what do we really want to make work, and how are we going to make that work really well? And actually, one of the biggest things I think that creatives forget about, or just anyone who starts up a business, is what they think is, I'm going to come up with this product and then everyone's going to buy it and it's going to be great, and everything that matters is that I get this product perfect, and that's going to be the most important thing. Whereas what we've learned is, it doesn't matter how good your product is, people have got to see it, and they've got to know it's there. And it's an annoying word, but marketing is the most important thing to make your business work, because if people can't see your product, and the right people can't see your product, then you know you haven't got a business, because nobody's going to buy it. So
that's what I was going to ask you about, actually. What kind of ways do you market yourself?
So it's something we're still massively learning, especially because this is our kind of New Year's resolution, if you like, is to get much better at marketing. Because when people look on our website and think about what we do, mostly they see our product. In reality, for the last few years, what's run our business is bespoke work, commissions of varying types. And now we're at a place where we're really trying to get our product out there, because we've put so much time, we've invested so much time and energy and money into making these things. We're like, well, we need to sell them, we need to make, people are starting to buy them, which is great, but we're looking at that. When we started out, we did design shows, and that got us most of our work.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think going to shows, meeting people, talking with people. We got a lot of advice as well.
And one thing led to another. So just bits of press. So we've been in quite a few magazines. We've met people at design shows, and what we've learned is it's not the one thing you imagine. Right, I've got this article in this really good magazine. Our sales are going to go through the roof. It's going to be amazing. Like it just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
It's a continuing effort. People need to see you a handful of times.
Yeah,
we were saying that.
You need to be seen. I think the magic number is 7.
Yeah, so it's more than a handful.
Yeah.
And then they might think of something that you had that they wanted.
Yeah.
We often find that what's amazing is that we get new clients, we work with them, we deliver on a project, and they're really happy. And then the next thing, something comes up, and then they think, oh, Studio Haran did that for me last time, maybe they could do this for me.
Yeah.
Which is really good. So we have a lot of work like that where we work with someone and then they'll come back to us
Trust
for something
is
else.
really
Trusting,
important.
yeah. That's also a thing with the magazines, is that often when we get ourselves in a magazine and you get to know an editor, and we get ourselves in a magazine, then they'll do one article on us. I think it's like the Simple Things magazine. We're in that which comes out today, which is amazing. And but we've also been in it before, and I think when she gets to know she's got to know our work, and she knows the style of it, and I think you can send her more work, and she thinks, oh yeah, I've used Studio Haran before, I can use them again.
Yeah.
So that's really, really lovely. And I think it also, when you're in a magazine, it in people's minds, they're like, wow, okay, they've got themselves into this magazine, so they must be doing okay.
It's like a reassurance.
Yeah, it's a reassurance.
It's like, if this magazine is aligned with this business, then they must be quality or
right.
what.
Yeah, which is amazing as well. And obviously it's lovely to see your work alongside lots of other amazing people as well, which is really encouraging for us. And it also affirms that we're doing the right thing, because you can often think we're running this business and it seems crazy, but are we doing it right? Because there's no one ever tells you that. No one will ever come and say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that right. We've had a bit of business counselling, haven't we? But apart from that, it's always really hard to know. So when you get yourself in a magazine, it's a bit of a pat on the back, and you feel like, okay, maybe we are doing okay.
A good thing.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, finally, where do you see yourself maybe in the next year or 5 years? What's your direction?
So Helena just started typing this up.
Yesterday, yeah.
But I was too tired to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we put it on hold. But there's a few things. I think over the next year, our major priority is to get a warmer workshop, so staying where we are and just get it warm so we can enjoy working here a bit more.
Yeah.
Then the other things are working, like as I said, on our marketing about lighting, and really trying to push all that a lot more. So changing the business that way and making big batches of stock and then concentrating on selling that stock. Then another thing, we're thinking of taking on an apprentice or someone over the year. So we're just...
That's exciting.
Yeah, because I mean, we have, as I said, like at times we'll have lots of people working and at times we'll have no one. It's really hard because you never know how busy you're going to be at different times of the year and what work's coming in. So it tends to work. It's very like ad lib with us. And we've been really lucky to have people who wanted that, who wanted some flexible working. But we'd like to have someone who's more permanent.
Yeah, and I think that's why we decided to call ourselves a studio as well. Joel could have just gone and been like Joel the joiner or something, and I could have just been like Helena with the ceramics. But I think that's why we wanted to be more of a studio, so we can. It's not just always going to be us, is it? So we can bring people on and we can teach people skills. and practical skills, hands-on skills that they can then learn and, you know, take with them or stay with us and work on, which is great. And I think, that's going to be, hopefully that's going to be a real part of our business, is that that's why we've got such a big workspace, because we don't just want it to be the two of us. We would love to have more people in here. That's
So
but
just
maybe
grow.
that's probably a 3-year thing.
we'd like to grow, but another big thing is, you know, when you're ambitious, you start and you're like, we want to do everything now and we want to grow really fast now, but you know, what we've learned more and more is slow growth is the best thing, because, you know, we make mistakes every single day. We learn something new every day, and it just seems like the much more sustainable, better way to do it is little steps. But ultimately, another big thing is when someone offers you a big step, even though it freaks us out completely, we've always just said, we'll go for it, because you don't know how many opportunities you should get. So we'll see what opportunities come in the next few years, and we'll make the most of them. But we'd like to, just grow slowly and sustainably. That's the big plan.
Yeah, and to be organised with it as well, and not, you know, not try and do everything, but just to, you know,
do everything we do well.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Do everything you do well.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. And guys, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. Do make sure you go and check out Studio Haran online. They've got Instagram accounts that look lovely. They've got a website with all their products on and their shop. So do go and check them out, and all that will be in the description box below as well. All right, thanks again, guys, for being with us.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. And we'll see you again, guys, for another creative conversation. Bye.
Good.
Great.
Oh,
I don't even know if that heat did anything in the end.
A little bit. Made some noise. It did make some noise. Hopefully I didn't have too much of a drink on my nose, but I did.
So they did that for you?
No.
Or they do that anyway?
They sell it, So then we can it's
That's really cool.
It's pretty solid. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Are you ready?
Hi guys, welcome to another creative conversation. Today I am in the studio of husband and wife team Joel and Helena
Haran.
Do your hairstyle, you might be in the photo.
If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, share, and make sure you listen to all the other creative conversations we have done. This was Creative Conversations, and I'm Mel Chadwick.